So you're at the park or the library with your kids and they don't want to leave. What do? Well, I'm going to give you 3 simple strategies that you can try to facilitate getting your kids to be willing to get in the car to head home. Let's get to it. As the parent of a young child, you are probably well aware that transitions are not an easy thing for young kids. And it's particularly challenging if we are leaving a super fun place like a playground or the library or the zoo, and if that place happens to be out in the community, making it even more of a challenge. And that's because kids are always testing boundaries at a young age, right? And they're not doing that to drive us crazy, just so you all know. They're doing it to try to figure out the rules so that they can close these loops in their brain. So they do more testing when we're out in public because they're like, oh, okay, how are my mom and dad going to show up here? Are they going to have the same expectations for my behavior here, or is it going to be different in this new environment? They're like little scientists trying to figure all of this out. A piece of it, too, I think, has to do with our energy as a parent. A lot of times when we're taking our young kids out in public and they start to kind of act up, we get really nervous, we get really anxious, and we a lot of times will modify our responses to them and do things sometimes that we said we would never do, like bribing, right? We've all been in that position before. So our kids are really trying to figure out, like, why is that going on here? Oh, so I can push further here and I can still do the things I want. Those boundaries move a lot when I'm in public spaces. And I know as a parent that one of the things that goes through our mind is that people are watching us, they're judging our parenting. And I want you to hear this right now. You need to let that shit go. If anybody is acting judgy or giving you the evil eye out in public while you're trying to work through a discipline process and help your child learn how to behave in a public space, then they either don't have any kids or they're so damn old that they don't remember what it's like, or we're using outdated discipline strategies that we now know are not healthy for our young children's social emotional development. So in those moments, we need to have a mindset shift. So what I encourage you to do as a parent when your children are acting up is to do your best to tune out all of this stuff from these people and just focus on your child. And rather than they're acting out and this is embarrassing, or they're acting out because they're trying to challenge me, look at it as they're acting out. This is a learning opportunity for me to teach them what the expectations are about behavior in community places. Those mindset shifts are really important for us as parents. I often say parenting is 80% mindset and 20% the actual things that we do. Now, there's no real research on that. That's just how I feel about the percentage and the importance of mindset on that. So take it for what it's worth. So let me share a little story from my own parenting back in the day. When my daughter was about 3 years old, it was a regular tradition for us to go to Target, do our little shopping run, and then when we were done shopping, we would go over and we'd get the 99-cent bag of popcorn, because she still, to this day, loves popcorn. So as we were going through the store and we got started, she decided that she didn't want to wait until the end to get the popcorn. She wanted the popcorn now. Calmly tried to explain to her, oh, we can have the popcorn when we're done with the shopping. So she decided to scream at the top of her lungs as I was pushing her along. So I tried doing the reverse psychology and telling her, oh, you can scream louder than that, which she did. So bonus, she actually finally did something that I was asking her to do in that moment. Inside, I felt like a hot mess because I've got this 3-year-old who is just screaming and turning red as we're walking through and getting to the checkout. Ironically, one of my coworkers was in the store and ended up in the line behind me and said, is that so-and-so? And I'm like, yeah, can you believe this? Well, needless to say, we left and we did not get the popcorn. So I'll tell you in a little minute about the strategy that I used to try to get rid of that behavior and to help her learn. That is not going to serve you very well. But before I do that, I want to share a couple of other tips and strategies that you can use in those situations when you're trying to help your little one transition from a super fun activity out of that activity. The first strategy is obviously to plan ahead. When we actually prepare for these meltdowns in these situations, it's a lot easier for us to keep our cool. So one of the things I encourage is before you even go to the park, plot out your day and talk about what's going to happen after the park before you even go. And try to have some desirable activity that your child really enjoys. Probably not as much as the park, but they're super excited about it. Even better if you get them involved in the planning of the activity. So maybe at breakfast, you're having a conversation and saying, okay, so after breakfast, we're going to play for a little bit, and then we're going to go run some errands, and I thought we could go to the playground. What would you like to do after the playground? And throw out some ideas. Do you want to do some playing in the rice box? Do you want to do Play-Doh? Do you want to paint? Let your child pick and choose. Or maybe it's I thought after the playground that maybe we could stop at our favorite ice cream shop and get some ice cream. So you're not bribing. You're already putting this on the agenda and the plans that you have. So then when it's time to leave the super fun, cool place, after you've given them some warnings and preparing them that we've got about 10 more minutes before we go, and you've got a visual timer so that they can see that the time is running out. Hey, remember, we're going to get ready to go. And after this, we're going to go get ice cream. You want to hype up the activity following the playground or the super cool activity. You want to hype it up so they're already like, oh, that's right. We're going to go home and play with Play-Doh. And Mom said we could actually put glitter in the Play-Doh, which she never lets us do. So hype it up, because that can really increase the likelihood that when it comes time to go, they might do the initial, I don't want to. I know, I get it. It's really hard to leave super fun places. But remember, we got something super cool that we're doing at home. I can't wait to see what you make when we get the Play-Doh out. Sometimes we get a lot more compliance that way. So here's some things that have worked for parents. One I've already kind of alluded to is using sensory play. A lot of times we as parents don't like to get out the messy things like the glitter. Oh my gosh, that was like a curse word in my house. I hated getting the glitter out. It was everywhere, but the kids loved it. So maybe after that super fun outing, we're going to do something that we normally don't get to do. Like we're going to do some pudding painting, or we're going to get the hoses out and some bubbles and some sidewalk chalk and get all messy and dirty outside and make some mud pies. Whatever it is that you think is going to be enticing for your child. And again, get them on board and helping to make those decisions. And as I mentioned a minute ago, maybe there's another follow-up activity like stopping someplace for a favorite treat. So we're going to stop and get some ice cream on the way home. And again, this is not bribing. You're already incorporating it into the plan as an enticing reason to leave that super fun place. And finally, if you have a little one who really struggles with kind of like that time piece, like they don't have the ability to wait that long for a reward of stopping for some ice cream or getting home to do this super fun activity, then maybe what you want to do is have like a busy bin that you keep in the car, a special little activity or some fidgets that they get after we leave the park. And if that's the case, you want to incorporate that into your discussions before you even go to the park or to the zoo. That once we're done at the zoo, I've got some special busy baskets for you guys that you can play with on the ride home. So it, again, is giving them something to look forward to that they can keep their hands busy. So I had a parent that I worked with who had these special little spinners that had suction cups and went on the window, and she only let her child play with those, and he loved them when they were actually leaving super fun, cool places. So you got to get creative, but a busy bin can be a great motivator for kids to sometime entice them to go out and get in the car. Before I forget, if you find this information helpful, be sure to like and subscribe because it helps me get this information out in front of other parents that are looking for help. All right, let's get back to it. The next strategy is to use a visual picture schedule. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know I am a huge fan of visual picture schedules because young kids are not great listeners, obviously. But when we pair visuals with the verbals, it can really increase their attention and really helps them to really hear what it is we're saying because we're adding that visual component. So using a visual picture schedule, you can plot out your morning. We're going to have breakfast, and then we're going to do some story time. Then we go to the park. Then we're going to do the Play-Doh or the ice cream. And you put all of those things on the chart. And after you have breakfast, you say to your little one, what's next? Oh, that's right. We are going to do some story time. What comes after story time? Oh, the park. How exciting. And then when we're at the park, what comes after the park? Oh, that's right. The ice cream. It really helps them to be able to prepare and recognize what is coming next. Because sometimes we'll be like, well, after we do this, then we're going to do that. They kind of hear it. It goes in one ear and out the other. So you want to do a lot of repetition, and those visuals really can help get them to tune in better. Now, if you're unfamiliar with visual picture schedules, I will put a link to a video that I did on that at the end of this one. I will also put a link down below to my visual picture chart system that you can purchase from my Etsy shop. Okay, and the third strategy is to use the brain drain. Now, this is an old school love and logic strategy from way back in the day, but I love this strategy for situations like this. The whole goal here is to get our little ones to make better choices and giving some natural consequences. So let me use the example of my daughter after that incident at Target. So once we got home, she was in a better mood and she went off and she was playing. So the next day, I specifically planned to go to Target again. Did I need anything at Target? No. Did I know that she loves going to Target? Yes. So I was getting ready to go to Target and I said, "Oh, I am going to Target." And she said, "I want to go." And I said, "Oh, boy, this is such a bummer. I would love to take you, but I just don't have the energy to wonder if you're actually going to yell and scream the entire time. So I think I'm just going to go by myself this time. I'll see you later." And I left her with my husband. She was really bummed and disappointed, but it's a natural consequence. When you behave that way in public places, I really don't want to hang out with you. You're not fun to be around. So I repeated this process several times over the next 2 weeks. I did not take her back to Target for 2 weeks. And every time it was like, I'm just not sure. I feel like I'm worried and getting stressed out that you're going to scream the whole time. So I just don't have the energy to today. Maybe next time. I look forward to going shopping with you at Target again sometime. So after about 2 weeks, she asked, "Can I go?" And I said, "Yes, let's give this a try because I think I've got energy for you today." We went into Target and she was perfection. Never had that happen again. So the brain drain is that you don't have the energy to go do that super cool, exciting thing that they want to do. But that doesn't mean that you can't go. I think I'm going to go to the park. I think I'm going to go to the library. I want to go too. Oh, I would love to take you, but I just don't have the energy to wonder if you're going to get in the car when it's time to go. So I don't know. We'll try it again. Maybe in a couple weeks I'll have more energy for that. And repeat as necessary. So let's use the scenario of taking a couple of kids to the park. You take them to the park, it's time to go. They say they don't want to go, and you remind them, "Oh, remember, we're going to stop and get some ice cream." And they're like, "I don't care. I want to keep playing." So that's when we can say, "Oh, what a bummer. I don't think I'm going to have the energy to go get any ice cream today." Or, "Oh, I don't think I'm going to have any energy to play with the Play-Doh and the glitter when we get home. What a bummer." Now, for some kids, they may be like, "Ooh, wait a minute. I do want to do that. So we'll go get in the car." Other kids are going to be like, "Yeah, I don't care about that. I want to play." Do what you must to get your children in the car. During the process of wrangling them into the car, my suggestion is to stop talking, limit your eye contact. You almost want to be a bit robotic. You don't want to be angry or tense, but we just want to go through the motions of just getting our kiddos in the car. We get in the car and we're going to drive straight home. And we're really not going to talk to them during that moment. Again, we're not sending off an angry, frustrated vibe. We're just kind of tuning them out, just kind of going through the motions. And then when we get home, you could try the brain drain then and say, "Oh, I am so exhausted from having to wrangle you guys in the car. It really drains my energy when kids don't get in the car when it's time to go places. So I got to get some of my energy back. So I need some quiet time. So I need for you guys to go hang out in your rooms and play quietly. Okay, I'll come let you know when I've got a little bit more energy." So you can try that, or you could choose to, "I'm going to go in my bedroom and get some quiet time. So I just need to be left alone for a while," as long as you can ensure that they're safe and they have the proper supervision. Or when you're planning your day and you say, "What do you want to do today?" And they say, "We want to go to the park." "Oh, this is such a bummer. I would love to take you to the park, but I just don't have the energy to wonder whether or not you guys are going to get in the car when it's time to go. So I guess we're going to have to figure out something else to do here at home. Maybe next time." So that is how the brain drain works. It can be a highly, highly effective tool in helping young children learn to make better choices when it comes to scenarios like this. All right, that is it. Those are my top 3 tips for helping young kids learn to make better choices when it comes to leaving super cool, fun places. I hope you found them helpful.